Welcome to Hashtime with Navguzi Chwanuka. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I'm your host, Navguzi Chwanuka, and I cannot wait to engage with you in the various conversations. This week we are celebrating fathers in our lives, the present ones, might I add, and my guest is none other than Sewajje Ivan. He is the creative and brand manager at the Innovation Village and a single father of two. He accepted to join us this week to share his experience of fatherhood through the lens of a single father. He comes with loads of lessons to pick from in this conversation, and I cannot wait for you to catch them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Sewajje. Is this Sewajje? It's
Sewajje. It's
Sewajje.
Yes.
Because of the double J.
Yeah, and a single S, yes.
Mm-hmm. Single S?
Yes.
I thought that's strong.
It's funny, yes.
It's supposed to be double.
The strength of the word, I think, than notations end with a double J. It's supposed to be strong at the end.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I know most of the se, or I think it's mostly the says in Luganda. There's no sa.
Right?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for it.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
You're supposed to show up last year.
And here we are.
And life happened.
COVID happened. It's one of those new excuses.
Oh my. New excuses. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We are in studio with Ivan Sewajje and his lovely kids they're not going to be interviewed, of course. We're just having Ivan on set. Ivan, tell us about who you are. I know just for the little that I know about you, I see your bio on Facebook. It has multi-talented, believer, and maker of brands. I'm like, that's huge. So tell us about who you are.
Ivan is a talented, I would say, maker of brands. Multi-talented in a way that I also have a superpower. I make kids. So that could be a superpower, right?
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, I'm just a random Ugandan who knows how to create things. I'm a creator. I breathe life into brands. So what you have as an idea is where I start from. And then I give you a roadmap on how brands should work.
Right.
I'm a father of two. I've been a single father for quite some time.
Quite some time, like how long?
My daughter is 9, so that should paint a good picture.
But there's a younger one, so you can be a single father for 9 years.
So I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
My daughter is 9. My boy is 5. So I have a background in marketing, brand creations. I own brands. I own my creations. So when I start something, I see it through the end until when it goes to the market, and so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, just a guy who knows how to create brands and knows how to take care of kids. Yeah. Also, I believe in God.
Oh yeah.
Not the conventional way of believing, though.
What is the conventional way?
I don't think God should be in a bubble. I think God is personal. So not the way people teach us God. I think it is those moments where you sit down alone. Those are the moments when you actually speak to God.
Right.
And that's the God I presumably believe in. Yeah.
As a maker of brands, is this something, how did you come to this kind of space? Because why I ask you this, in a society we come from, we don't really, back then, in our age of growing up, we didn't have this moment of being told that we can actually create something for ourselves. It was mostly about what is on the market, what is available. So from what is available on the market, what do you pick from it? So how did you come into that kind of space of being a maker of brands?
It's so funny, I wanted to become a priest when I was growing up. No, yes. That's a bomb, right?
Like how old?
I
think you would do great. I was going to be a nun also at some point.
I come from a Catholic family. Both my parents are Catholics, and my mother had this thing in his head that all her boys are going to become priests.
All.
Yes, so we are 3 boys, and we all went to the seminary.
All.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
What was your father's response to that?
I think my dad has always been supportive in
Do you know what that means for the clan?
I understand.
Extinction.
I know. But I also understand where he came from. I think my mom and dad wanted to give us values that they wouldn't be able to give us when we were young.
Oh, yeah.
So I know, I'm seeing this right now that I'm a parent, that there's some things you may not be able to give your kids because you have all this noise around the world. So you put them into institutions that would be able to give those things to,
That's right.
to your kids. So I understand where they're coming from. They knew maybe we wouldn't be able to be priests. None of us made it to priesthood.
None.
Yes.
What a loss.
So it then gives you an understanding of actually they got what they wanted because they wanted the values of Christianity or the Catholic Church, the things they teach people that are going to become priests, humility, respect, loving your neighbor, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Those are the things maybe they wouldn't be able to give us, and they thought the institution or the seminary would, play the part.
I've actually had a couple of parents, or maybe you just overhear people's conversations where they say things like, take the child to the seminary. They'll be better in society. I've actually had some things like that.
Yeah. So academically, you are respected more. It's funny.
You are respected more?
Yeah, I think there's a way the seminary teaches you to be more independent at a younger age than any other institution I've been to.
Is that so?
Yeah, and
were you in the seminary for the 6 years?
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa. And then first wait. At what point did you feel like, no, there's another thing?
It's just funny that as you grow, there's a way nature gets a hold of you, or how maybe I would say your personality changes a bit. I mean, not deviating away from your original intentions, but mostly around the things you're built to do, they catch up with you.
Yeah.
Even if you say, I'm going to do this, that's why I have this quote in my life, we plan and God laughs. So,
like jokes on you.
Exactly. So whereas I could be planning to become a priest, I mean, maybe God says, there are other ways you could serve me. May not need 200 priests for your family, but it's also very important that maybe you try this out. And then things come your way that you may not even have to explain.
You don't even know how you landed there.
Exactly. So I am a believer in predetermined will. Things that people try to deviate away, like nature has everything in control. I keep on using this as an example as well. If you said, okay, I'm young and I'm going to go to Serengeti and the lion won't eat me, right?
Yeah.
So the lion will eat you whole, even if you're a kid, right? But there's certain things you would have done about it. You could run away with your little tiny legs. Maybe, but the predeterminism is for the lion to actually eat you.
Yeah, right?
So we do these things to try and fit in what that looks like. It's possible that most of those things might happen.
Yeah.
But it's possible that nature might say no. And when it does, who am I to say yes?
So your mama wanted you to be a priest.
Yes.
But did you want to be a priest?
I didn't know what I wanted at the time.
Had you been talked to? Did they engage you and be like, okay, so you are my son, and to serve God, I want you to be a priest? That kind of thing that Hannah did. Is it Hannah in the Bible? Like, hey, if you give me that child, I'm going to give up for him to serve you.
I don't think we grew up in that kind of community where you had a say in things.
Yeah.
which is also okay because I don't need to know everything. But I know that my parents had an idea of what they want, what their kids should have been, and they drew us in that regard. And they always shaped us to become respectable citizens, say things, become thought leaders, speak and people listen. Whatever you do, whatever you put your hands on, make sure you leave an impact, you leave a mark. I think that's what I pick out of this. Not that my mom woke up and like, Ivan, I want all my kids to become priests. I don't think that was the original intention. If we became priests, I think she would have been happy.
Yeah.
But I also know that she knew that was the only way to get some good out of us.
Were you rowdy?
I think we were.
You think?
Yes.
Just speak from your experience, from your idea of the 8-year-old Ivan.
I had my first child at the age of 23, so that should paint a really good picture.
Kudos to you.
Yeah.
You were ready to experience life.
Yeah, life comes. It will be devoured in all different. Comes on different plates, sizes, and like you choose what to pick.
So you're in the seminary. We're seeing you in the seminary. Which one exactly were you?
Bukalasa Seminary in Masaka, yes.
Yeah. It's another one tough. I feel like the more you go into the villages, that's why it gets tough.
I think it is an opportunity for underserved communities to experience maybe what it looks like to be an urban, as if oriented person. It is a campus, a high school campus, one that not so many campus, or institutions even have a chance to get. So as a child that grows from a rural area, this was my opportunity to use cutlery, at first.
Wait.
Like, you'd never seen this. It's like maybe 40 acres of land, and it only takes 500 students. And for you to qualify, you need a certain pass mark. For you to qualify, you need to have...
there was a pass mark.
Of course.
Oh.
It's seminary.
Wait, I thought they don't care.
No.
Wait.
It's very different, my friend.
I thought they don't care.
You can't just walk into a seminary.
I know they are bright in there, but I didn't know I didn't know.
So every single person that has gone there has a level of integrity, and also they should really, really be smart. Yes.
I know they're smart, but I don't know why I didn't think there was a limit.
So I know that they've never had, say, O-level of maybe below 90%, right?
Wow.
Or A-level below, say, 85%. They've never had that. And because it's an institution that grooms priests, it doesn't make news. So it's
I think that's why I picked the bias from that they don't really care.
No,
because I've not even seen them in the hierarchy of who is leading in the academics.
They're always either number one or number two, but they don't make it to the news.
Do they have to give permission? Do schools have to give permission?
I think so. I think there's because you should understand that the seminary doesn't work like any other institutions.
That's right.
Like, as you guys maybe in your first year, S1, you were reading about history of Portuguese. We were reading about history of ancient Romans. We are reading about history of the Greece, right?
Your curriculum...
It's a bit different.
Exactly.
So by the time we start catching up with you guys, there's a very big difference. Yeah. And it's okay, but they're very, very specific with the things they do, the people they bring in, and the kind of stuff you do when they're. You don't even look like they're focused on maybe career or education. Even other things. You need to learn how to play music. You need to learn
music
how
is
to speak.
big.
You need to know how to speak, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to give an example. We started senior one maybe around 120, and we ended senior 2, 33.
Whoa.
Exactly. So,
but then your expulsions are tight.
Exactly. You have to be very, very careful.
I think
be you.
You can't be you. You cannot be you in those seminaries.
I think you have to be you. If you try hard, they will notice and they'll again let you go. I have had a friend that was expelled, and the reason on the expulsion letter was, we don't understand him.
Friend.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah.
A person or someone does not fit in community or something like that. That's what they say.
Yeah. And the reason with say this guy was always, well, I mean, I think they came from that, they were told, always go to church, become oriented, become a priest. We were playing, we were doing basketball, we were maybe tennis, and this guy is in church. He's reading the Bible all the time. No, that doesn't happen. You have to be you. You still have to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 18 years, I'm assuming. This is not working for me.
2005, season 1.
How did you come to a place of feeling like, or how did you morph from, okay, this is the seminary and now I have to go into the real world?
Mm.
How was the transformation like for you? Was it confusing? Was it...
The life at the seminary is not very different from the life outside there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they try to make sure you still live a life you're supposed to live. It's not
Which kind of life?
It's not like
do they ensure that you have? Yeah, I feel like those kids have no life.
They do.
Which one?
You
feed well. That one I know. You feed better than all the other schools. That I know. But
I think what the conventional staff or the society dictates is for you to do things the way other things do them. The other people rather do them, right? Mm-hmm. But an institution like a monk or a seminary says, be cognizant of people that are around you.
Right.
That's simple. Whatever you do, make sure, be cognizant of that. Like, if you don't want it, maybe someone else doesn't want it as well. Mm. It's as simple as that, right? We would never have, say, assembly. We don't have assembly points at the seminary. We won't ask you to line up. Why? It's very simple. They would say, "Do not walk in the grass." It's a rule.
Yeah.
And the roads in there only allow for one person. So automatically you're going to find yourself in a line. So they won't tell you.
You see, yeah?
It's very simple. Yeah. And these are simple lives. These are and also teaches you to appreciate the simple things in life. Do not whistle. What's the point of whistling? To
entertainment.
Really? Anyway, again, I really think it just helps you see things differently from how the society sees things. Yeah. And I do not take that for granted. I might have not become a priest. I may not have, been exactly what maybe my mom presumed I would be.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that was a foundation she chose for me.
Is there something that you feel like you would have your child go through as well?
No.
What's the difference?
Oh, because I think the society has grown. The things that I expected from the seminary right now may not speak to my kids' generation. Maybe that's the only reason, right? Whereas I want my daughter or my son to grow up knowing God and knowing how things are supposed to be done. I think I would rather they explore that
on themselves,
in their own, yeah. And it is not an opportunity that I got. I think it was very important that I make that choice myself.
That's right. That's why I was like, did you ever have a conversation for you to be like, okay, I can go in and...
No, not one that I expected.
So was it easy for you to get to choose what you wanted to be beyond priesthood?
No.
Yeah.
My parents wanted me to become a doctor.
If not a priest.
Yeah. They always pushed me to do sciences and so on and so forth. So I would say even my first year at university was medicine.
Ooh.
And I didn't want
So wait, even at campus you weren't asked what you wanted to be?
So I think the traditional society only allows for you to do things that as if predetermined by your parents. That's actually how we are. It's a way of curbing fear. This is how I want my child to grow. We try and We try and help. We become heroes all the time. That's what parents are back. That's how they were back then. I know they're moving, they're changing now, but before it wasn't the case. So all my brothers are doctors.
Whoa.
Yeah, my brother Dennis is a very good doctor. I have another big brother, Ronald, is an army doctor. So that is what they really wanted.
Friend.
So if this didn't work, they had another way, and that's what they would say would be their best.
First year doing medicine, what happened? You ran?
It's not. Do you realize they give you a dead person when you go doing medicine to work?
First year?
To work with.
In first year?
Not first year, but
that'll be too early.
Ending your first year, you should have someone you relate to, and
why?
These guys called it. Yeah, we need to understand how the body works.
So whose body do they pay people? Do they pay the family? Or they just take people? They just steal the dead bodies.
No, it's all legal. But that was a bit traumatic, and I think it was one of the reasons I chose to live.
So you were told you didn't really have to experience it?
You had to.
No, I mean for yourself. Because you're saying first year, it feels like you didn't go beyond first year.
No, I did not.
So
I had a sponsorship from the government to do medicine.
You are bright.
And
sponsorship, medicine. Whoa!
And I decided I didn't want to do that because I had roots in the arts. I'm a very good painter. I draw.
You draw?
Yes, I do. I draw. I have ways of seeing things that people do not see, or seeing color in ways people do not see. And I recognized that when as I was growing up. So I decided that I needed to do something else, and I went to UCU on my own. So there's this.
On your own?
Yes.
What was going on in your parents' head?
At the moment, I think I was a bit disowned.
Yeah.
At that moment. And here I am trying to do things. So there's this priest.
And you chose UCU. Why? It's expensive. Where were you going to get the money from?
Yeah, so I was getting that. There's this priest who told me that when I was still in the seminary, he was like, Ivan, you're really smart. I don't think you're going to make it as a priest. So,
oh my God, that sounds wrong.
So as you grow, they tell you because it's also very important that you let these guys know these are so many years lost.
Exactly.
So if you did 6 years in minor seminary, you're going to go to major seminary and do extra 3 years for.
Are they even 3 or 4? I don't understand. There's so many.
Yeah. So it's theology and philosophy. So those are not easily employable. It's not a bachelor's you walk in and actually get a job. It's not easy to get a job with that. So it's very important that you have that career guidance from a lawyer. And so for those guys that cross over to the major seminary, I think at least they have an idea of what they're getting themselves into, and they have received support from priests, from different guys to help them understand what they're getting themselves into. So I got support from a priest, and he was like, "You're really smart. I think you would make it. You'd serve God in a different way. Why don't you try other things? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do medicine? Why don't you do ABCD?"
Yeah.
And I listened to him.
He didn't. Why didn't he engage the parents though?
He did.
Oh, he
told
did.
My parents okay, and you can't have that conversation with the child because I'm just a child, right? Yeah, he did, and advised the parents that's okay. Whereas Ivan is really good, he's devoted and understands how things should work, but I think he's best to serve God differently.
Yeah.
And there's so many reasons for that. Sometimes it might be how you grew up, maybe you're in a child screaming, maybe you need a certain level of attention to become a priest. I respect priests because I understand the process of how to become one. So I ended up doing medicine. I ended up trying to become a doctor, but here I am with dreads. And
what are you saying? Even doctors can have the dreads.
Until one of the freckles falls in.
Okay, don't go there. Don't do that.
Yeah, so I went to UCU. I did my bachelor's in industrial art and design. Here we are.
And how did you morph from that into being a maker of brands?
So it is quite huge what the creative world offers. So it's a very big chunk. You can't become, one size fits all. I figured that I had an understanding of businesses and how they should work. I knew that my roots come from painting and drawing and deciding this color should work with this color.
Right.
And with some understanding of psychology, some understanding of how people think from the seminary, it got me thinking, why would people be receptive at color A and not color B? Why would there's so many colors on the spectrum? Why would anyone want to do this? What influences their change? It is interesting how I can make you see things that are not there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And as a brand, and under my role right now at the Innovation Village and Motive, I help entrepreneurs see through the lens of a brand's person. If you're going to start a business, why would you choose this? Is it because was your favorite color from your grandmother, or
from your grandmother? That is so far.
or does it influence certain beliefs and the way people see things? So ideally, I had that understanding, and it is quite different. When I create something, I know it's going to work because I do not.
Is there something that has failed to work?
No.
Ivan.
I choose my clients. They don't choose me. So if you can come and ask for some work from me, and I will humbly reject you.
Whoa.
Because I know it won't work, and I don't want to be associated.
I thought you guide.
So it
to be
depends.
associated.
So it depends. And someone may come and say, "Oh, I need a logo, or I need a brand for this." And guess what? My idea is I want to deliver toilet paper. It is not a sustainable idea. I don't think there was a time in life where you were like, "Oh, I wish I had an app that delivers toilet paper right my day." So I have to understand why you're doing it, what problem are you solving, and how is it even impacting? Are you looking for money, or are you actually solving a problem? Is the problem you're solving, is it a water problem or a beer problem? Like very simple things.
Yeah.
You could be solving a water problem, and the other one is solving a beer problem. So yeah, that really makes me different in my field. I do not work for everyone.
Yeah.
You can't just wake up and hire me. No, it's hard.
Oh, look at yourself.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's hard. You're even feeling pity for us. Huh?
Not really. I'm just saying that it has to be that business that's actually doing something good for a community.
So they have to be established already.
Not really. The idea, even if you are just ideating, we have to sit and understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you doing it for the money? There should be a bigger goal. Zuckerberg didn't wake up and started Facebook to make money. Started with the idea of connecting people. That was his big problem to solve.
Yeah.
And money came along. So it has to be more than money. Yeah, and I think for me that would make sense to me. Yeah.
Problem solving.
Yeah, I have to solve a problem.
Was fatherhood something that intrigued you? Is it something that you thought about? You're okay, now I'm out of priesthood. What's my life ahead? Because there are some people that have this mindset that you are either a priest, or let's go with the sacraments, because I know you understand Catholicism. There is either ordination or matrimony.
Yeah.
So you're out of ordination. Did you ever think about the other sacrament?
No. Again, I'm that kind of person who always thought life isn't the rules, because the rules are supposed to help us get better in society.
That's right.
Not ground us a certain way or make us feel a certain way. So, whereas it's good to have all these sacraments in the Catholic fraternity, it's very important to understand how and why you do that.
Yeah.
There's this scripture that goes, faith without action is dead.
That's right.
I would rather I spend all my life understanding why I'm having matrimony than rushing to have it. Right? So I would respect someone who has taken time to understand the virtues of matrimony, coordination, than someone who's just rushing to have it. It's very different. Never thought about matrimony from when I left the seminary. So it was a very big transition. And it is the same thing for all ex-seminarians. It's tough to catch up with the world.
Yeah.
It's either you feel you're very different from them and they don't understand you.
But most times they are different.
Or it's the way around. They think you are doofus and they don't understand you. So catching up can be a challenge. So in my distinction in that regard, I always thought, hey, what can I do now? And for you to choose one thing that works for you, you need to understand the gears, and they always manifest in your life. You didn't wake up one day and you're like, oh, hey, Ivan, I want to become a podcaster.
Yeah.
There's so many things that led to this grand idea to become a podcaster. So life has its nice way of doing things for you. And for me, it was just things that come easy. If you can easily draw if I can have something in my mind and I put it on paper, this is how I want a logo to look like. You should have this. And you draw it realistically, it should be something you should monetize or should build as a service for other people, right? Other than waking up and forcing it to happen. So my life, from the transition from the seminary, was now to build these little steps to understand exactly what comes easy for me.
Oh, what comes easy.
Right. Whereas still in service of people. Am I good at speaking? Can I speak to people and they understand? What talent did God give me? I wouldn't want to cliche it into a talent like any other institution would say.
Yeah.
But really, what comes so easy for you? That should help you understand exactly what you should do in the next, 10 years, 5 years. Because then you build slowly leading to that.
Should we assume fatherhood landed on you?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to build a family. I come from a stable family. I still have my mother.
Stable, like that's that's very important. Oh my God. I don't think someone has said something like that. I come from a stable. It is very important.
And there's a bare minimum to that as well.
Exactly.
So when I say stable, I'm not saying I wasn't whooped. I mean, it's
well, stability doesn't mean you aren't whooped.
Yeah. So what I mean by stability is like I've never seen my mom and dad fight. It's that I've always been. God has helped me to be in nice schools. They have tried. They're both primary teachers, but they have pushed me to school.
Whoa!
All of us. So that's what I mean when I say stable family. I have people that understand the true virtues of marriage. Whereas it's hard. They keep on trying to understand each other, and that's what I tend to bring the stability concept from. So that alone helped me really understand what fatherhood looks like. I'm one of those guys that, man, I would say, I wouldn't bring statistics in the mix here, but at least 70% of people that are alive here weren't planned. Not that, hey...
Yeah, as planned.
Well, you could have been planned in a way that, hey, we should have a baby in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But not in the sense of, hey, everyone, let's have a baby. And then you came out.
Hey, everyone.
So
you're calling this a podcast?
So I think then it becomes a conversation of, did you want a child at that time? I wouldn't say that was part of my plans, but here we are. Last year university, I have a child. What do? You go and run away. That's what every man would say.
Yeah.
You go and try to figure stuff out, or I don't know. Now you have a child. What's going to change?
Yeah.
It's a question only you and your God can answer. It's tough. It's a tough conversation to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you became a father in your last year of the university.
Yes.
What was it like?
It was hard.
Did you have to step out of school?
I was actually finalizing. Okay, I was finalizing, and around the time when I had my child, I was just doing my final internship. So I was just waiting for graduation, really.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job.
Exactly, because I'm going to be like, when you're like, oh, shit.
I didn't have a job. I was just
Did you feel like you were doomed?
terribly effed. Like, I knew that my parents are going to say,
Exactly.
told you so. You know, it's one of those things where you look at stuff and you're like, oh, fuck, my enemies are celebrating. But whereas all that happens, again, it's very important that you understand how you came about as a person. If you don't remember your history, understand your history, you may not necessarily know where you're going. So I understand exactly. I wasn't an easy child growing up. Mm-hmm. And I know the problems my parents went through, education, health, and so on and so forth. I was a rowdy child. I didn't want to go to school. I was always forced to do things, even things I knew I loved. So, and I knew the teachings of Christianity, like you have to pick your cross and go with it. No one is going to help you. And the question is, do you really do that with people in the mix, or do you now stand up and walk? So it's different. It's not I'm having this child with someone, and let's walk this journey. The ideas differ now. We didn't expect that. It's here. We are not in a relationship, but it's here.
Yeah.
And I have my other plans. And this child is going to stop some of them. Mm-hmm. So here we are. What do you do? I think I wouldn't say I was entirely a nice person or everything was glitz and glamour and here we are with a child and I had everything planned out, or I was in a stable relationship and we fought one or 2 days and then we broke up. No. Mm-hmm. It has never been like that. And I do not ever want to be in a situation where I have to even talk about if we had problems with my baby mama. Never. No.
Yeah.
It's because I know that if you make a decision as a human being, mostly as a man, you're built for responsibility. Actually, I don't know why men mostly don't understand that. Men are specifically built for responsibilities.
All of us have to be responsible.
Yes.
But I think what I feel like is the problem that we have in society is that it's not common that we tame boys.
Yeah.
I've seen many homes where they're just left to do whatever they want as long as, this is even in courts, as long as they return home. And then for the girl, you have to make the home, you have to do this. This person, meanwhile, has the audacity to come from wherever he has been around the village and come and demand the girl, where's the food? Exactly. He has not actually done anything throughout the day. So it keeps building on that kind of foundation and you start losing out on the purpose even of life.
I think I would agree, yes. But I also think life tends to bend the way nature wants. Mm-hmm. And humans have constantly tried to deviate, right? It's not in our nature as men to not be responsible. Men are supposed to hunt, help their family.
Right, from Adam.
That is exactly how things are supposed to be. And it catches up with you. You can run, you can do whatever it is that you want. It will catch up, right? It's easier, you take that cross early enough. Yeah. You take the blows, they'll help you learn how to get better job and move. And I think it is good to educate women, right? Because society, I keep on saying that whereas we want to be in a world that we want to be in, society is not as accepting as yet.
It's not as accepting as yet.
So we're trying to build to that now. But as we do that, we need to also live ways of not alienating our kids in that regard, because I've seen kids not being accepted in communities because of how we want them to be.
Yeah.
So how do we create that life that works for all of us, but also keep on enabling the women and girls? Anyway, we're not. As a father, I think it's very important that you pick up the slack, pick up the responsibility from the first time. The moment you know you've had intercourse with someone, you don't expect plasma TVs. You should know something might happen.
You might be paid in return.
I doubt that. I should understand that, something might happen.
Something might happen.
And how ready am I going to be? But many chances, it's a spur of the moment thing. And here's a child. Now you've created a human. I'm a creator, right? Mm-hmm. That should make you think differently. Like, you can create someone. You guys undermine the power that we have. You can actually create a being.
Yeah.
That alone makes me think differently about myself. Being a brand person, creating something that thrives, and then next time you hear, oh, these guys have attracted $1 million. I'm like, oh, wait, I created that?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. It's the same concept I bring into my life. And I'm like, okay, I have a child. What do I want them to be? What things am I going to change about my life? If you ask me a question, if you ask me how I would have been without my kids, honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't have been any better. I keep on giving this reference that my kids made me who I am.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
They made you a better person.
Yes, I think. I would agree 100%. As
a single father, what are the things or stereotypes that just don't make sense that you've heard in society?
There's a lot. We will need like 2 days.
There can't be 2 days. Those are so many. They can never be. Those are 48 hours.
I think the first one is that if you ever run out of love.
If you ever run out of love.
It happens in a relationship. If you run out of love, then the woman has to take care of the kids. And you have to move on and just provide.
Yeah.
And many times it's the bare minimum. It's not true. There's so many men out there that are actually staying with kids. Their own kids. And it's the way around, the woman.
It's not common.
They're there. You just don't know.
I only know you. I have to think so hard. Like, if you found me, if I had to wake up from sleep, and like, hey, do you know any single father? Ivan. Like, I don't know any other person. So
there's this psychology concept. I don't know if you've had it. If you're about to buy a car and you know the car you want to buy, it's the only car you'll be seeing on the road. Now, from today, you're going to start seeing
from today, parents. You think I am?
You're going to start seeing single fathers.
You know that thing that you said? When you want to go and test for HIV, for some reason, even the number plates have HI4. Like, why? What is happening?
I understand.
Yeah.
So exactly, and it's very important that we can bring that concept in our lives. If you want to become something, you just have to keep on taking use of that. Become exactly that. We have tongues that create. But anyway, to go back to your point, I think it's very, very important that we understand that this is something that can be done by both women and men. Yeah. It's not built that... Whereas women are nurturers and they easily take care of kids, women love easily than men. And, I mean, I could be hungry and someone wants to feed me then. Like, oh, are you hungry? You go to the village and your grandmother wants to feed you. It's because it's imprinted in their DNA. They have to... It does happen naturally. But when it comes to responsibilities, men, I've seen so many men. I know a friend at my workplace. He left, but this guy didn't even marry again. He lost the relationship and kept the kids, 3 kids, right? And he never married again. He was like, I'm devoting my life to my kids, and that is it. Changed his schedule, changed his behaviors. He used to go to bars and stopped.
It was just like, I need to be present for my children.
Exactly. And that happens. So that's one of the cliches. And then not every man is the way people think. Like, I don't understand why people keep on saying, or he is this because he is a man. What nonsense is that?
What is that like?
Or,
oh, yes. I think I sort of understand you. The beat of, I am doing this because I'm a man.
Nonsense. Right? I don't expect, let me just give an example.
I'm running away because I'm a man.
You're running away because you're a man. Or because I'll send upkeep, I'll pay for insurance for the health, I'll do this. Nonsense. Right? It's very simple. I wouldn't discipline or even talk harshly to my daughter when my son is watching. Because I wouldn't want my son to grow up knowing that's exactly how to speak to women. I wouldn't, whereas I still have the concept, I've ever beaten my daughter, right? But I would never do that when my son is watching, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to grow knowing it's okay to beat women. It's very simple. And whereas these are things society dictates that should happen or that have happened before, that doesn't make it the order of the day. There's so many men that keep on doing nice things, kick ass, and build better, but they're not talked about, right? It's because society also leans back, protecting women, right? Well,
what is the other stereotype you've heard?
Crying.
Oh, yeah. Elaborate on that.
Men cry a lot more than you would expect. You just don't see it as often because society says you shouldn't cry, you're a man.
When last did you cry?
When was this? Yeah, I cried recently. I listened to a song of Bobby Wine.
Oh.
And
Bobby Wine has songs that can make people cry.
Yes, there's this song. He says, they threw you as a piece of cassava, a leftover cassava, but you...
Sing it in Luganda, my friend. I want to understand if you're putting it in English.
Bakuzala ngensobi.
I know the song.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it made me think of so many people, mostly men, that, they keep on climbing or, pegging on so many little things and then they make it. And many of those are not even celebrated or even talked about.
Yeah.
Right. I know a number, so many. I would just...
Has parenthood made you cry before?
Yeah, many times. There was a time, keep on giving this example. My daughter was 1 year and a half, was with her. And I remember I was doing internship at UCC and we didn't have milk or any food at home. So I called home, and there was a maid, like a neighbor's maid. She used to help me, so I would give her like 50K every month, end of the month. So she had a child around the same age, and she called me and told me, "Your daughter is very, very hungry. I don't have anything, so I've given her my breast."
Whoa!
It was that bad. So. And every time I remember that, it gets me teary. It makes me think all these things I have walked and never backed out. And here we are, happy. Right? So, and so many other things, really. There was a time my daughter got so sick, I didn't have, and I'm that guy who has too much ego. Didn't want help. I was like, no, they're going to laugh at me. They're going to say, we told you so. Take the child to the village to your mother. No, all these things. Because those are normal stereotypes. Like, you have a problem with your woman, just pack your kids, take them to the village, and then figure it out. So, yeah, my daughter was really, really sick. And I literally had to go look for medicine. Like, I don't know if you guys know Mururosa. And I don't know, when
I've
last
heard
time,
of it.
You saw it in Kampala.
I've never even seen
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Now I do know what it is. Ask me right.
I've never seen it.
So I was like, I think I know what to do.
Mululuza is bitter herbs.
Yes.
Meanwhile, those Nigerians eat it as sauce. Are they crazy?
Yeah,
sorry, they're going to bash me.
So I got that stuff. I fixed it. It didn't help. Fun enough. It didn't work. but I got money the next day. Like, there's a way God provides. I got money the next day, and then took my daughter to the hospital. But those are some of the there was a time I walked from Kampala to Entebbe with a child in my room, left in the house. Yeah, quite a lot.
Oh my God. And because I'm only seeing you talking about your struggling bits or crying bits with your daughter. When I'm now imagining when you come to a place of stability, is there a moment you have cried in relation to your son?
Yes.
Let's say.
My son is I think my son is a cuter version of me. Everything he has done, I think I have done before.
Yeah.
So there's some things he would do or say, and I remember exactly using the same words.
Oh, yeah.
So the hardest part was me maybe displaying the me out of him.
Oh, ouch.
So there was a time it really got to me, like, okay, this can't happen again, right? How to respect women. I know there are so many vices he picks out there from school and then says, oh, this guy said this. I'm like, no, we don't say that.
Yeah.
Stereotype.
Yeah.
No, we don't say that about women. No, we don't say that about girls.
Yeah.
Girls are the same as us. So stuff like that. There's so many things I look at. But then also, I keep on saying my daughter, I keep on talking about my daughter because she has seen harder days with me than my son. Because my son has been bowling all the time, all his life, nice schools, driving in AC. But I look at my daughter, 9 years now, and I know that she's the proper representation of struggle as a single father, right? This boy grew up with an insurance card.
No Mururuza.
My daughter knows how Mururuza is, right? My daughter is just, you guy, it gets me emotional. But there are so many moments I've had with my son, but not as equal to the ones I've had with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For single parenthood and mental health, is there a moment when you felt like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this alone anymore. Maybe let me just drop the kids to my parents, or I don't know.
There has been moments like those, of course. I told myself I'm never going to take my daughter to the village until when I'm sure she's able to say no or yes. I did take my daughter to my mom after she was stable in pursuit for a new relationship. And I knew that was one of the right things to do. But I didn't want to do it early enough because I also knew that it was stereotypical to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Someone might counter ask, don't you think you maybe messed up your child because of your ego? No. It was one of my ways to also learn as a person. We wouldn't expect bliss and glitter all the time. I think I was just keeping a problem or a challenge closer to myself and figure out exactly how to deal with it.
Instead of walking away from the challenge.
So, yeah. Man, I think as a dad, as a single father, and maybe this is a call for all of them, the distinction between you as a man and as a dad is not, what you carry between your legs.
Yeah.
But really, the things that you're going to do, the things you're going to say, the things you wouldn't want to change, the things you would want to change and things you wouldn't want to change as a person. So, yeah.
How do you keep your mental health in check?
How do I keep my mental health? I wanted to run it from like that.
You can't run.
I read. But I also, I speak to my kids. We have conversations. We do not yell at each other. We speak. So if I tell Vanessa that, hey, Vanessa, I do not want you to do this, and she does it again, I'm going to say again.
Yeah.
And the next time I'm going to say, okay, these are the consequences. This is exactly what we do. Being able to see things clearly So one of the things, the clarity that when you speak about certain things, the clarity that comes with that is what has kept my mental health in check. I have struggled with mental health all my life, I think, and also keeping friends closer to you. I have a beautiful set of friends, Mary and Josephine, and I remember when my mental health was at its peak, my friend even picked me up from home and took me to a therapist.
Oh, you've been before
Yes,
a therapist
definitely.
before.
You can't. You need a brain fix at some point. But yeah, we all need that. We need to confide in people. Men don't speak about things. I think the reason even why women stay longer than men is because you guys speak a lot with each other. You get hurt and you're able to talk to your friend. Men talk about cars and sports.
FIFA.
And yes. And games.
I saw that. I really saw that. Yeah.
So it's also because of how society is. But what has worked for me is really speak about things. I'm not quiet. When I feel bad, I would tell you, like, I'm not okay. Do not speak to me. Otherwise, you're going to have a peace that you will not like.
That's right.
And then you walk away. Then if I'm okay, I would say, hey, I'm sorry, but I wasn't fine. So other than keeping it quiet and you die silently, I'd rather you say something about it.
Yeah.
Or let people know exactly how you feel. Because they are not angels, they're not going to know. And it's not something that is written off, or like a wound that is sore, you're going to see it's bleeding.
Yeah.
Just have to say stuff. Or have maybe safe words with your inner circles and say, whenever you see this guy say this thing, just know he has flipped. And he needs support. And he needs to, maybe he needs help, he needs to speak to someone. And then you do that.
Yeah.
But then also maybe just look for help. Accept and look for help.
Accept and look for help.
Yeah.
And for the maker of brands that you are, can people just contact you and seek your help? So we're not leaving contact details. No. Okay, let's jump that.
I'm currently employed. I work with the Innovation Village, but I support startups in the ecosystem, in the Innovation Village.
Oh, yes,
if you want to work with me, or just join Innovation Village, join Motive, this actually comes for free. We'll be able to have conversations, and we speak, not being braggant or egotistic, but we will be able to have conversations you wouldn't even have. Because, you have to get a Calendly link and then book 30 minutes with me, and then it's tedious.
Yeah.
But if you just came in to office, walked in and want to speak to Ivan, I will be able to come and attend to you.
Right.
We would speak language we both understand, and probably won't even pay for it. It's better that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what words do you want to leave with us at the close of this podcast?
It's something for men.
We need it.
Whereas society dictates that we need to educate our girls, we need to let them know how things are supposed to go. Let's go back to how nature does its things. It wins eventually, right? As a man, I'm supposed to provide security and protection. Security comes in so many shapes and forms, even by being financially stable, being able to take care of your bills, and so on and so forth. But most importantly, if you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, I wouldn't advise for you to run away from it. I would rather ask that take some time, think about it, and understand that there's so many things that are going to come with it. Problems, yes, but if you're ready to learn from them, even better, because that is exactly what you need.
Yeah.
You don't expect a life. I keep on asking, do you really think it would be nice to have a life without problems?
We don't have problems, hadn't it been for Eve to eat the thing?
I wouldn't think, I don't think it would be nice.
Are you
What
sure?
would you wake up to do?
Stroll in the garden.
Nah, it's not so pleasant. I don't think it's a pleasant life. I think
But in heaven, so you don't want to enter heaven, Ivan?
I don't think the concept of heaven is the way it is taught here. It's not gold, and it's different.
You think there are problems in heaven, Ivan? You know what? Don't inspire us to go to heaven.
No. Heaven is really good, but maybe its concept is far different from the way
from how we're taught about it
as humans. It's the same way. Why would anyone want to think about God as a human? Maybe he's not.
Yeah.
Right? But because it's within our nature to try and humanize things, we want to have a blissful picture of what serenity looks like, and that's heaven. It could be different, and I keep an open mind about it. So that's the same thing I would take with me. If you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, just pick it up, and you don't know what life is.
Pick your cross
and move with it.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a good time.
My takeaway from this episode is the emphasis on finding someone to confide in. This right here, I can testify, lightens the load on your heart. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Hashtime with Nabuzi Chwanika. If you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtime with Nabuzi Chwanika in your podcast platform of choice and share it with your friends, loved ones, even enemies. We need to wish them well. Share the podcast with them and any other person that you imagine is affected by the millennial world around us. Also, feel free to share what connected with you on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at Hashtime with Nabuzi Chwanika on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. You can also reach us on our email, htnkpodcast@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing your feedback, your suggestions, and anything that you can come up with. Catch you in the last episode of this month, and I hope that by the time we roll it out, you will have figured out who your confidant is. Or better yet, I hope that you will have started the journey of finding your confidant. Adios.